Hey mamas, welcome back to the Mom Mix. I'm your host Sabrina. Now before I start, I'm gonna say my intent was to record this episode last week, but child, I got distracted with current events. And after those events, I have been in a slump ever since last week. Let me tell you, I've went through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And I know you guys are probably like, what are you talking about, Sabrina? What is going on? Okay, y'all, I'm gonna tell you. I'm still floating on the Cowboy Carter cloud, okay? I have been in a stupor for a week. And to make matters even more crazier, I came back home to a sick baby. And today's topic kind of relates because we're focusing all on baby boy this week. So this week's episode is called Baby, Baby, Baby. Let's Get Us Some Sleep. So the title says it all, and it's basically inspired by the song from TLC, Baby, Baby, Baby. So we're breaking down the current sleep struggles going on in my home and what that looks like, okay? And what's it just doing to our sanity, and how co-sleeping went from never in our house, and it just is now just come and lay down. Just come on, get in here. Come on, let's go to sleep. Let's all go to sleep. So let's get into it, okay? All right. So I was excited. Like last week was really exciting for me. Going to see Beyoncé, going into Beyoncé weekend, because I needed a teeny weeny little break. We were already in a sleep battle at home. My son, he's already been clingy and cranky, allergic to sleep, if you will. And I felt bad leaving my husband alone in that chaos. But at the same time, it was nice to have a break, even if it came with a side of guilt. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Turns out, he not only was clingy, he also turned out to be sick. Of course he was. And coming straight back into the house off of such an amazing weekend, I walked straight into a battlefield, okay? So now I'm back at home, still in a Beyoncé stupor one moment, clacking my fan the next, but now my son is giving me full dramatic energy, okay? So I can't go to work this week because he's home from daycare, irritable, snotty, clinging to me like he's Velcro. And, being the great wife that I am, I tried to give my husband a little break, even though work isn't a break. But I know he gave him the business during the weekend. And I feel really bad about it. He was texting me, calling me the whole time. And I felt really bad, even though I had a great time with my friends. So I was off all week. I really tried to, give him that space that he needed from being his Velcro that past weekend. But for me being off, it wasn't an extended vacation. It was a whole second job. No rest for the weary. All I could do was look back at my Beyoncé videos and pictures from this past weekend while holding a miserable, fussy toddler like a sweaty accessory. Okay? And you know what, y'all? I'm just going to say, this little baby, I still call him a little baby, he's so mean, especially when he doesn't get his way, and especially when he's sick. And I don't even know what he wants, and I don't know what way he wants it. Times like this, I really do miss the newborn stage. This sickness has taken the clinginess and bedtime battles to new levels. So yeah, let's talk about it, okay? So my boo thing, my son, he's always been a Velcro baby. He was clingy when I breastfed him, and now that he's weaned, he's just transferred that to my husband. So he's glued to him basically like he's a groupie, okay? But add a toddler viral illness on top of his already sleep-averse personality, baby, the crying, tantrums, And a baby who refuses to sleep unless he's pressed against somebody's body like a humid space heater is just too much. Okay? And a viral illness to me is like a nurse is a 4-letter word to me. I'd rather have him have something where he can get an antibiotic because at least we can treat that. Okay? All we could do for this is just to provide supportive care. Tylenol, ibuprofen, popsicles, cuddles. I can do that, but let me give him some antibiotics. Outside of him being sick, let me paint y'all a picture of how we've been living for the past couple of weeks. We are in full hostage mode after 8 p.m. Lights off, whispers only. You think we were hiding from the feds. You know, when we first brought him home and he was sleeping in our room, you think, you know, he wouldn't be used to all this stuff. I would watch TV in the same room with him as a newborn and not on a low volume either. He'd sleep through everything. The noise, the light, the action scenes on Netflix, arguments on Bravo, everything, unbothered. Now, he can smell us breathing. We will walk by his room. He senses us like a motion detector. One creaky floorboard and he's up. We can't wash our hands. We can't flush a toilet. Can't sound happy or laugh too loud because boom, he's crying, calling, climbing, trying to climb out of his crib. It's like living with a sleep ninja who's trained to sense joy and destroy it. And when he cries, we're stuck in that spiral. Do we let him cry? For how long? What if he wakes up the whole house? What if he doesn't stop? He's not hungry, not wet, not sick. Well, this time he was, but not normally. I mean, I think everybody's been there. But, I mean, we're just like standing frozen like a statue in the hallway or in our bedroom, just listening, praying, hoping he puts himself down. I don't know. But let's talk about what we've done. We've done it all. White noise machine, that's still playing. Lavender lotion, lavender sprays, calming books, gentle routines, bath times, kisses, hugs, all of it. And he loves it. He loves it all. And in fact, he will go to bed in his crib and he will give us hugs and kisses goodnight, but he just doesn't want to stay there. But that's why I'm not rushing to convert his bed into a toddler bed, because he would be all over the house in the middle of the night. And let me be honest, we do not want him in our bed. I know some parents don't mind it. I don't know. I don't know how some people's houses are. I mind it. I do. But, you know, going into this, we had boundaries. We had a crib. We have a plan. We were confident. But he said, that's cute. But, you know, it's just like every night, like clockwork, he makes his way into our bed like he pays rent and he bought snacks and he's staying there. Now, here's the thing. We know it's a phase and we know he's still little. And we know that this is a season. It just feels like the season is for 10 years, even though it's been a couple of weeks. It's hard to keep that perspective, though, that it's only a season. I want my bed back. I want my quiet time with my husband back. We want our bed back. I don't want my body to be a jungle gym at 2 a.m. and a foot in my face at 6 a.m. But, you know, we're figuring it out. I know it will get better eventually. You know, I just wanted to talk about this because it was just so crazy that it related so closely to everything, seeing that I was just coming off of such a great weekend. And this child has not been in his bed since I've been back from my Beyoncé Cowboy Carter weekend. Okay. So even though this time is hard, you know, I will look back and laugh. I do know that. I don't know when, but I do know that when he's older, we can laugh and we can chuckle about it. But for this week's mixtape memory, I'm just going to, catch myself, or I do catch myself thinking back, sorry, not too long ago about when he was a newborn, those early baby days. When baby boy was just this little squish curled up on my chest for hours, taking contact naps, and like it was just his full-time job. I could smell his little milky breath, and he couldn't roll over yet, and he just existed to be cuddled. And I missed that version of him. It was just me and him against the world. That's what I miss. I do. Now he wants to put his foot in my face. So anyways, because we had that close relationship, because we had that close bonding those moments, I knew his first words were going to be mama. I'll never forget how mad I was when his first word was dada, or dada, but that's when he said dada. I felt like he did it on purpose. Like, boy, I carried you for all these months. They cut me from side to side. You nursed from me for almost a year, and that's how you greet the world. That's your first word. But now I can't walk into a room without hearing mommy, mommy on loop. And this is how he says it. Mommy, mommy, mommy. He says it, he yells it, he chants it. And I'm like, boy, what do you need? And he just laughs after he says it, or stomps his foot. I don't know. It's a cute memory. But I just remember when I wanted him to say my name so bad and he wouldn't. So now he just says it nonstop. And he wants to be in my bed nonstop. And he won't let me sleep. So I'm up nonstop. And I'm tired. Okay. Let's flip the tape. It's time for side A, side B, where we compare motherhood then versus now. So, I know y'all been waiting. I couldn't wait to compare either. My baby girl. Let me tell you, she was an easy baby. She was a unicorn, okay? Slept through the night at 5 weeks. 7 hours straight. I know that's not through the night like some people would think, but that was a big deal, okay? At 5 weeks, where children should be getting up, or babies should be getting up every 2 to 3 hours, that's unheard of. People thought I was lying, but nope, I had witnesses. She stayed in her bassinet for 3 months, never once made her way into our bed. There were no regressions, no drama. Sis respected bedtime. She was a sleeper. And I made sure, once I found out she respected bedtime, I made sure her tummy was full, and I made sure I checked on her every so often, made sure she was dry, made sure she had the best diapers so she wouldn't, have rashes or anything like that, and she was good throughout the night. And to this day, this girl still sleeps like she's training for a marathon in her dreams. I still find myself having to go in her room and check on her because she sleeps too well. That was side A. Smooth, clean mix. No skips. And, sometimes she annoys me with her smart comments and her smart mouth. But I let it slide sometimes because she will sleep 12 hours for sure. Okay? But baby boy, let's talk about side B. Okay? All right, we already got into it. But I have to break it down and compare a little bit more. Because a little bit of his sickness was thrown in there. Okay? He's our remix baby. Y'all already knew that. He actually started off good. We were getting some long stretches in there in the beginning. I thought, okay, we got another sleepy one. We did all the same things that we did with baby girl. We made sure we gave him, baths and, rubbed him down every night, did the stories, did the kisses, had a routine, all of the things. But nope. When we moved him out of our room around 5 months, so I could go back to work, that's when the album scratched. And it's been hit or miss ever since. Sleep regressions, teething, new milestones, it all hits like just a new track on shuffle. 1 week it's peace, then the next week it's pure chaos. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's because we waited too long to take him out of our room, or it's just probably because he's his own person. I don't know. And now when he wakes up crying, we bring him in the bed. Because if we don't, he'll scream us into submission. I mean, let's be honest. He will probably hurt us before we hurt him, okay? And, you know, I'm just going to be honest. Look at my hair, guys. Yes, it's nice. It's pretty. I got my boho braids for, you know, the Beyoncé concert and everything. Oh, I'm hitting my microphone. But we are old. We are tired. Marcus ain't got gray hair like that. He got in his beard. But are we going to stay up all night from screaming, or would we rather get jolted by a kick? We're just picking our poison. And the sleep rules that I swore by, they're gone. I used to be so strict. Now, he be sprawled all types of ways. He be sprawled sideways, hogging pillows like a grown man, and using me like a pillow. Like, it's crazy. It is very interesting in our king size bed, you know. But the real kicker is he knows that if he cries long enough, we will definitely come and get him, and we will cave. We've trained him unintentionally, and it's very hard, and that persistence pays off. And now he basically has a black belt in bedtime negotiation, and we are stuck. We're figuring it out, though. We'll get to a better place. We'll get our bed back. We'll get our pillow talk back, but we're in a place, child. We are in a place. But all right, so we're switching it up and moving to mom bars. And here is your 15 seconds of real talk. So, and this is good for me. I hope this is good for everybody else. Mama, you are not weak for giving in. You're not wrong for wanting your bed back. You are not selfish for craving space. And just because they cling doesn't mean you're failing. It means they feel safe enough to hold on. But also, you are allowed to tap out. You are allowed to sleep. You are allowed to want your body, bed, and brain back. So I'm just going with my baby feels safe and secure. And hopefully I'll get my bed back. Because everybody knows I love my bed. All right, so I'm going to add a bonus segment for you guys just because I'm coming fresh off of Beyoncé and she has stunned me, okay? So I would like to call this segment Beyoncé Breaks and Mama Guilt. Okay, y'all, so look. I took a break. I went to see Beyoncé. I sang, I hollered, I stomped my boots, I clapped my fan, okay? I felt alive. But as soon as I got back, that guilt came in, just creeped right in. Was what I did selfish? Did I abandon ship? It feels like every time I leave, this baby gets sick. Every time I go out, something happened. The answer is maybe, but also the answer is no. Because breaks don't make you a bad mom. They make you sustainable. They remind you that you're still a woman, still a human, still a whole person under the diapers, and, you know, still a person under the Miss Rachel reruns, okay? Because Netflix needs to go ahead and add some more Miss Rachel shows, because he don't like the ones on YouTube for whatever reason. But I get it. You know, coming home to a sick, clingy baby made the return rough. But, you know, I refuse to feel bad for choosing joy, even for one weekend. I did need that break. So take the break, sis. Guilt and glam can go coexist. So if you want to go out with your girlfriends, if you want to go out on that date, go out on that date, go. You are always going to come back to your kids, but sometimes you need to take a moment for yourself. All right, mamas. So that's the mix for this week. If you're in the toddler trenches like I am, just know we are all out there trying to make it to the morning without getting headbutted at 3 a.m. It's hard. It's very hard. If this episode spoke to your tired mama soul, please share it with your friends. Tag me on socials and tell me what's your side B moment. I want to hear all of the sleepy tea, okay? And follow me on IG at the Mom Mix Pod. And make sure to drop a review on Spotify or Apple. It helps your girl out. Catch new episodes of the Mom Mix every Mixtape Monday, wherever you get your podcast. And remember, you're not just making it through, you're mixing motherhood into something real. All right? Bye, mamas.